Good morning, Bookeemonsters. Welcome to Tuesday. It's October 31st, All Hallows Eve, Halloween, Day of the Dead, or Samhain, if you are recognizing the Celtic version, which I do. I am wearing my Samhain bow and knot. I'm also wearing some black tourmaline for extra negative energy protection today. This is when they are saying the energies is the thinnest. So I hope you're going to be having a good day. My name is PK. Welcome back to Bookeemonsters, where we look at the new releases in the morning. Tonight we will be having sprints. They start at 6:05 Mountain Time, 8:05 Eastern. So hopefully, if you're on the East Coast, you have finished trick or treating, or if you do things like that, you can pop in. If you, like myself, don't have kids, so I don't have anything vested that way. I'm just going to be doing the reading and crocheting and things like that tonight. So, or if it's a nice place for you to stop by when all that stuff is done, it'll be 2.5 hours of your time. So that might be a fun thing for you to do. We will be looking at mysteries today. Let's hop over to, where am I going? Going over here. Let me get rid of the banner. And first up here is Janet Ivanovich, Stephanie Plum. How many are in this series now? I used to read this series. I haven't for quite a while. Is there about 30 or something now? Stephanie Plum, Trenton's hardest working, most underappreciated bounty hunter, is offered a freelance assignment that seems simple enough. Local jeweler Martin Rabner wants her to locate his former security guard, Andy Manley, aka Nutsy, who he is convinced stole a fortune in diamonds out of his safe. Stephanie is also looking for another troubled man, Duncan Dugan, a fugitive from justice arrested for robbing the same jewelry store on the same day. That guy had a bad day. With her boyfriend Morelli away in Miami on police business, Stephanie is taking care of Bob, Morelli's giant orange dog, who will devour anything, from Stephanie's stray donuts to the upholstery in her car. Morelli's absence also means the inscrutable, irresistible security expert ranger is front and center in Stephanie's life when things inevitably go sideways, and he seems determined to stay there. That's still going on. Huh. To complicate matters, her best friend Lula is convinced she is being stalked by a mythological demon hell-bent on relieving her of her wardrobe. An overnight stakeout with Stephanie's mother and Grandma Mazer reveals 3 generations of women with nerves of steel and driving skills worthy of NASCAR champions. As the body count rises and witnesses start to disappear, it won't be easy for Stephanie to keep herself clean when everyone else is playing dirty. It's a good thing Stephanie isn't afraid of getting a little dirty, too. Good morning, Rebecca. Shoveling snow. Got about an inch of the wet stuff. Oh, yeah. Isn't Halloween about the snow? Ours is melting. I'm kind of glad about that. The Spy Coast by Tess Gerritsen. A retired CIA operative in small town Maine tackles the ghosts of her past in this fresh take on the spy thriller. Former spy Maggie Bird came to the seaside village of Purity, Maine, eager to put the past behind her after a mission went tragically wrong. These days, she's living quietly on her chicken farm, still wary of blowback from the events that forced her early retirement. But when a body turns up in Maggie's driveway, she knows it's a message from former foes who haven't forgotten her. Maggie turns to her local circle of old friends, all retirees from the CIA, to help uncover the truth about who is trying to kill her and why. This martini club of former spies may be retired, but they still have a few useful skills that they're eager to use again, if only to spice up their rather sedate new lives. Complicating their efforts is Purity's acting police chief, Joe Thibodeau. More accustomed to dealing with rowdy tourists than homicide, Joe is puzzled by Maggie's reluctance to share information and by her odd circle of friends who seem to be a step ahead of her at every turn. As Joe's investigation collides with Martini Club's maneuvers, Maggie's hunt for answers will force her to revisit a clandestine career that spanned the globe from Bangkok to Istanbul, from London to Malta. The ghosts of her past have returned. With the help of her friends and the reluctant Joe Thibodeau, Maggie might just be able to save the life she's built. Tess Garrison, of course, is well known in the mystery writing world. This seems like a take, though, on her spin on Killers of a Certain Age by Deanna Rayburn. Doesn't mean it's a bad thing. And we've got From a Far and Lovely Country by Alexander McCall Smith. His #1 ladies detective agency, still going strong too. Madame Ramotza and I apologize for saying these wrong. And Mr. JLB Mataconi are enjoying a nice meal out of a peri-peri restaurant when an American woman named Julia approaches seeking Madame Ramotza's help. Julia's beloved late grandfather was Botswanan, and he instilled in her an abiding love of his homeland. Now, years after his passing, Julia has come to visit the land he had spoken of so often and to find her relatives. Unfortunately, her grandfather's stories, while charming and entertaining, were somewhat light on detail. All Julia can remember are a few first names and some descriptions of his village. It's not a lot to go on, but if anyone is well poised to help, it's Madame Ramotza, Botswana's premier detective. Meanwhile, a second case leads her to look for assistance from an unexpected quarter. For the first time, Charlie leads his own investigation at the detective agency, going undercover into a dubious word-of-mouth get-together known as the Cool Singles Evening Club, where married men are encouraged to pretend to be single and meet women under false pretenses. Who could be behind such a distasteful venture? Getting to the bottom of this will be a tall order, to be sure, but Charlie is eager for the opportunity. As Madame Ramotza learns more about Julia, she begins to understand that Julia's heartbreak runs deeper than she had initially realized. Together, she and Mama Potokwane must find a way to help their client heal and move forward from both her past and her present. Julia had originally come to Botswana seeking family and connection, but in the warm embrace of them, what she ends up finding is a home. That sounds cute. Also this week, When I'm Dead by Hannah Morrissey. One girl murdered, another one missing, and a medical examiner desperate to uncover the truth. Blah, blah, blah. On a bone-chilling October night, medical examiner Rowan Winthorpe investigates the death of her daughter's best friend. Hours later, the tragedy hits even closer to home when she makes a devastating discovery. Her daughter, Chloe, is gone, but not without a trace. A morbid mosaic of clues forces Rowan and her husband to question how deeply they really knew their daughter. As they work closely to peel back the layers of this case, they begin to unearth disturbing details about Chloe and her secret transgressions, details that threaten to tear them apart. Amidst the noise of navigating her newfound grief and reconciling the sins of her past, an undeniable fact rings true for Rowan: karma has finally come to collect. Sounds kind of devastating. Coffee is required. Just a minute. All right. Excuse me. The Paleontologist by Luc Dumas. A haunted paleontologist returns to a museum where his sister was abducted years earlier and is faced with a terrifying and murderous spirit in this chilling novel. So this is kind of more horror. We don't really do horror, but we'll plunge on ahead for a bit. Curator of paleontology Dr. Simon Neely never expected to return to his Pennsylvania home, let alone the Hawthorne Museum of Natural History. He was just a boy when his 6-year-old sister Morgan was abducted from the museum under his watch, and the guilt has haunted Simon ever since. After a recent breakup and the death of the aunt who raised him, Simon feels drawn back to the place where Morgan vanished, in search of the bones they never found. But from the moment he arrives, things aren't what he expected. The Hawthorne is a crumbling ruin, still closed amid the ongoing pandemic and plummeting toward financial catastrophe. Worse, Simon begins seeing and hearing things he can't explain. Strange animal sounds, bloody footprints that no living creature could have left. A prehistoric killer looming in the shadows of the museum. Terrified he's losing his grasp on reality, Simon turns to the handwritten research diaries of his predecessor and uncovers a blood soaked mystery 150 million years in the making that could be the answer for everything. So that might be something if you are wanting something scary for Halloween. Death at Paradise Park by Ross Greenwood. When Alfie Hook settles down to eat his fish and chips by the Constantin seaside, he hasn't anticipated is going to be his last meal. DS Ashley Knight and her major investigation team are called to investigate, and when they discover who Alfie is married to, they realize this case is not going to be straightforward. A second body is found in gruesome circumstances at the nearby Paradise Caravan Park, but the team struggle to connect the two victims. Even after hours of interviews with the residents and many questionable stories, to the police's frustration, all their alibis check out. What are they concealing? As the bodies mount up and the leads get ever more complicated, Ashley and her rookie partner, Hector Fade, finally join the dots, but then it's a race against time to stop the killer striking again. The Rosewood Hunt by Mackenzie Reed. Do you have any plans tonight, Rebecca? We don't really get very many kids anymore, but a couple families have moved into our neighborhood, so I'm getting some candy this morning just to be prepared, just in case. Perfect for the fans of the Inheritance games and Knives Out. Lily Rosewood has lived with her grandmother since her dad's death a year ago. She and Graham have always been close. Graham's role as chair of their family's luxury coat business has inspired Lily's love of fashion, and Lily hopes to follow in Graham's footsteps one day. Then Graham dies suddenly, and Lily's world is upended. Graham's $250 million fortune is missing, and Lily has been banned from the manor she and Graham shared. But Graham has always loved games, and even in death, she still has a few tricks up her couture sleeve. When Lily and 3 other seemingly random teens get letters from Graham sending them on a treasure hunt around Rosetown, they hope the fortune will be the reward. But they're not the only ones hunting for Graham's treasure, and soon the hunt becomes more dangerous than they ever could have imagined. Okay, did we look at this one yet? I don't think so. Murder at Everham Hall, Everingham Hall by Benedict Brown. A mystery novelist with writer's block, a lavish party to ring in the new year, and a film star with 3 bullets through his head. December 1927, mystery writer Marius Quinn has one previous bestseller, endless looming mortgage payments, and no idea how to write his next book. When his childhood friend Lady Isabella Montague invites him to an intimate New Year's Eve party hosted by a narcissistic actor, Marius seizes upon the distraction. With his perpetually glum basset hound along for the ride, which wasn't invited, I'm sure, he navigates the snowy lanes to the opulent estate of Everingham Hall. As the celebrations begin, fireworks light up the sky, champagne corks pop, and then the host is murdered. Snowed in, obviously, of course. With the police unable to reach them, Marius is the closest thing the panicked party has to a detective, and he is swiftly nominated to find the killer. But when 2 more guests are attacked, Marius soon realizes that solving mysteries is even harder than writing them. With Bella at his side and a clutch of conniving suspects to choose from, can Marius find the culprit before the killer targets him? We did look at this one yesterday. Yep, we did look at that one yesterday. All right. Well, that is what they are saying are the big ones being released this week in mystery. Let's go back to cozies. No, we don't get kids going to be joining in sprint tonight. Excellent. Appreciate it. All right. I think we did that. We were starting to look at that one. Let's go to actual today releases. Mission Impossible. Kindle Unlimited, 125 pages, so a novella. This is by Chris Abernathy. The Paradise Inn is Paradise. It's getting a complete and much needed makeover, and there's no time to kill. This is fifth in series. As the new owner wants it ready for a grand reopening in the spring. Celebrity guests are already making reservations. Everything comes to a stop, though, when one of the construction workers winds up dead in a secret room that had been long forgotten. Even more surprising than the room and the body in it is what had been hidden in the room for decades and has now disappeared a second time. Detective Whiskers has his paws full in this thrilling case. Okay, it's a cat. Moving on. Enough of a little teaser if you're interested in that. A Hover of Trout, a Jess O'Malley Irish Village, second in series by Ginny Alexander. Lots and lots of little blurby things there. In the close-knit Irish village of Ballyfortnum, sorry, there's the cover, a careless fisherman could catch his death down by the river. It's not so peaceful on her riverside walk when aspiring sleuth Jess O'Malley stumbles upon a dead fisherman bobbing in the water. As if that's not enough, he's not quite the stranger she thought he was, nor is he the only dead body in Ballyfortnum this week. Jess, aided by loyal sidekick Fletcher, her exuberant black Labrador, has uncovered another mystery to get her hook into, but will her policeman friend Marcus believe her this time? As she fishes for clues, casting aspersions on friends and neighbors, can she reel in the culprit without becoming the killer's next catch? They went all out on those puns. Manitoba Tea and Tarot Mysteries. Wow. This says it's 673 pages. Char McCall has a gift for solving small town murders, but can she stop something threatening the entire McCall clan? The gifted McCall triplets are the descendants of an accused Salem witch who escaped persecution 300 years ago to Snowy Lake, Manitoba, Canada. Char McCall, self-designated leader and modern psychic finder of small objects, reads enough Agatha Christie books to know how to solve a murder mystery. For goodness sake, she has no need of the new Mountie, Constable Ace Collins's help, or anyone else's for that matter. Well, except for her sister Star and Tulips, or the Northern Lights Coven on occasion. I'm kind of intrigued that it's over 600 pages. It looks very cozy-ish. Murder with Madness by Blythe Baker. 168 pages. So I would still consider that novella. It's Kindle Unlimited, 6 series. Sylvia and Miles travel to London to investigate the murder of Miles's late wife. At last, Miles is about to solve the crime that has haunted him for so long. There's just one problem: the killer is dangerous and cunning. Probably doesn't want to be caught either. With Miles tracking down leads in the city, can Sylvia uncover the truth during a deadly weekend in the English countryside, or will the killer strike again one final terrible time? Jessica Baker, A Novel Thief. First in series, 84 pages, under 100 pages. Take a look at the cover. We don't really go in depth on those. The Secret of the Spectral Sprites. That's kind of a Nancy Drew title, isn't it? By Miranda Rose Barker, 60 pages. Take a look at the cover. This is a Moonlight Hollow book, number 7. Under 100 pages, we move on. Hoot Homicide. This will probably be the last one because it looks like we're running out of time. By Stella Bixby, second of 5, 182 pages. Shayla Murphy can't believe her luck when her boyfriend, Seamus O'Malley, proposes and invites her to move to Ireland. She's ready to start her new life with Seamus and his warm, welcoming family in the charming town of Ballywick. But on the heels of her engagement, a tragedy strikes. Seamus's mother, I used to know how to pronounce that, best friend Sophie is murdered. Everyone believes Sophie was trampled by a spooked horse, but Shayla suspects foul play. Teaming up with her visiting best friend Riley, Shayla dives headfirst into solving the case. Her investigation soon implicates shady characters with murky motives. As she gets closer to unmasking the killer, the stakes heighten. Shayla won't let anything stop her quest for justice, even if it means putting her own life in peril. Dodging danger at every turn, she's determined to catch the culprit before her Irish dream turns into a nightmare. And very winter set, too. Okay. That's all we have time for today. I appreciate you guys watching, either now or later in repeat in the replay. We do have. It's not too loud. We do have sprints tonight, as Rebecca was mentioning there. We will be starting at 6:05 Mountain Time, 8:05 Eastern. Pop on by, bring a book, work on a project, just veg, meditate, recover from the day, and kids on candy, sugar highs, or just munch on your own candy. That's perfectly acceptable too. I applaud that. So I hope you have a very good day. Be safe, be happy. Remember, you don't get good person points if you're reading something you're not liking. It's okay to put it down, set it aside. I give you permission. Read something that it's the right time for. It's no reflection on the author. It's no reflection on you. It's not the right time for that book right now. So just try something else that you are enjoying. And as the banner says, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom nom. Today's a good day to be a bookie monster. Nom nom. All right, everybody, stay safe. Take care. God bless.